acting director of national intelligence for the Trump administration.
According to a source and published reports, President Trump got furious at the thought of aides from the director of national intelligence office briefing House Republicans and Democrats on Russia's new efforts to help the president win re-election. The acting DNI, Joseph McGuire, heard from the president and is departing. Mr. Trump tweets, "Thank you to our great U.S. ambassador to Germany, Richard Grenell, for stepping in to serve as acting DNI. I will be nominating a terrific candidate for the job very soon." Grenell has some foreign policy experience, but not in intelligence. President Trump told reporters last night he's considering Congressman Doug Collins of Georgia, one of his defenders in the Senate trial. Bob Costantini, Washington.
Democrats in the race for the White House are crisscrossing Nevada today ahead of tomorrow's caucuses. Correspondent Arlette Saenz reports a large number of residents took part in the 4-day early voting period.
Over 70,000 people cast early votes here in Nevada, and more will come to caucus here tomorrow. Bernie Sanders remains the frontrunner. There's also Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren, who both need strong finishes in the state. One other thing the Democrats are hoping for here in the state is a much smoother process tomorrow compared to what happened with that Iowa caucus debacle earlier this month.
Jurors in the rape trial of former movie mogul Harvey Weinstein are back in court. Correspondent Jean Casara says the panel is reviewing the cross-examination of actress Annabella Sciorra.
She was actually at a dinner that night from Miramax, and Harvey Weinstein asked if he could take her home. She said she went up to the 17th floor where her apartments were, and about 30 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. She answered the door, and it was Harvey. She said he pushed his way in, pushed her onto the bed, and raped her. She then remembers blacking out, falling on the floor, and waking up at some point.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 195 points. I'm Ann Cates.
This report sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. Buy Quicken Loans. An accident reported I-15 southbound at Sahara. Vehicles are off to the right, slowing on I-15 south. Still from the Spaghetti Bowl to Tropicana, northbound 15, slowing from Russell up to Spring Mountain, and on the 95 in the East Valley, northbound slowing from Boulder Highway to the Spaghetti Bowl. 15 southbound in the West Valley. Expect delays just south of Craig to Summerlin Parkway. A home is more than a house. It's the feeling of open roads and blue skies. Rocket Mortgage has helped millions of Americans finance the home of their dreams, and they can help you too. Rocket Mortgage, push button, get mortgage. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale.
I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Marie Mortero. We want to thank you for making News 3 your #1 choice for news.
Every weeknight at 11, you can count on us to have the big story of the day.
Plus breaking news that matters to you.
Jim Snyder and Marie Mortero. News 3 live at 11.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Our best vapor yet at our best price ever. 99 cents plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pod sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
Transform your bathroom in just one day with the experts at Reborn Bath Solutions. Reborn Bath Solutions has been serving Las Vegas for over 3 decades, and right now they're offering 50% off all labor and 1 full year with no interest and no payments. You can't beat that. Make your appointment online today at rebornbathsolutions.com, and they'll give you a $50 Bed Bath & Beyond gift card just for considering them. 50% off labor, 1 full year of no interest and no payments, plus a $50 Bed Bath & Beyond gift card. What are you waiting for? Reborn Bath Solutions. They bring the showroom to you with free in-home appointments at your convenience. Visit rebornbathsolutions.com today. That's rebornbathsolutions.com. Take advantage of this amazing offer. 50% off all labor, 1 full year of no interest and no payments, plus a $50 Bed Bath & Beyond gift card. Reborn Bath Solutions, where it's done right and done in a day.
Hi, I'm Dave Mizrahi, owner of Best Mattress. At our President's Day sale, save up to $1,800 on the brands you know and trust. Serta, Sealy, Beautyrest, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic. Plus, get a free adjustable base with your Queen mattress purchase of $599 or more. And pay no down and no interest for 24 months. Whether you're rah-rah for Reagan, mad for Madison, crazy for Carter, or gaga for Garfield, save big at the big President's Day sale at Best Mattress. Sleep easy, friends. See store for details.
The new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
What's up, Las Vegas? Happy Friday. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. Busy week, baby. Busy week. Are you caucusing? That's right. Tomorrow we're going to find out who wins. We'll get into that coming up at the bottom of the hour. Amber Athey is the Washington editor for The Spectator. She's going to be talking to us about the debate. She's also covered the Roger Stone case. We'll get into all that coming up at the bottom of the hour. Also coming up, new information now and details. Remember, we covered the Rush Limbaugh situation when he was talking about Pete Buttigieg, about being a homosexual, and apparently Donald Trump had a personal conversation with Rush Limbaugh, who spoke about it on his show. Trump telling him not to apologize for his comments. Pete Buttigieg now responding to it again on the Ellen DeGeneres show he did earlier in the week, talking about that. We'll get to that coming up in hour number 2. Also, back by popular demand, ladies and gentlemen, it will be time to play Vegas Take Jeopardy. Last time we played Vegas Take Jeopardy, it was fun. It was a good time, things that Rush Limbaugh has said in his career. But today, it'll be who said it first, Bloomberg or Trump? That will be the Jeopardy theme today. And, of course, our producer, Alex Trebek, will be guest hosting that today. Mr. X, the Hollywood conservative, will be joining us in hour number 3. Oh, plenty to get to with him, including an update on the Harvey Weinstein trial. We could possibly get a verdict at any point during the show today, and trust me, when it does come out, we will be discussing it. We will be talking about it. I hope that son of a bitch gets life in prison. I really do. Also, I never knew about Steven Spielberg's daughter being a porn star. It's a sad story, though, and the reason why it's sad is because she's been open and honest about how she was abused sexually when she was a child. And, you know, I'm not saying that every porn star out there had to be sexually abused, but when you're the daughter of, let's be honest, Spielberg's probably a billionaire. When you're the daughter of a man like that and you decide to get into the porn business, she's obviously not getting into it for the money. It seemed a little weird to me, and now we're learning why. So we're
adopted, right?
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But, all the money in the world. Yeah. Steven Spielberg's got all the money in the world, so we'll talk about that. Also, Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports will be joining us in hour number 3. Now, as you know, this has been caucus week, and it's not easy getting, some of these presidential candidates to do one-on-one interviews. It's not an easy thing to do. It's difficult. But I know that our producer, Jason Stein, has been working tirelessly to try to get some of these candidates to come on our show this week. How has that been going, Mr. Stein?
Well, I normally don't like to publicize my failures, but in this case, I don't think it's my fault. So I am going to talk about it. Because I think that our...
Do we have a violin we could play in the background?
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Do we have a violin that we could play?
Steven, sad music, please. Because it really is sad.
Do we have a violin?
Here's why I'm doing this. Mainly, I want listeners to know, because people, listen, they're driving around, they're going to work, they have real jobs, unlike us.
Right.
And families, unlike us. And I think they'll never have to deal with the shenanigans that we have to deal with. They have other, more important things to do. But we deal with these shenanigans, and I want people to know, I want them to know what it's like to be a talk radio producer during political season.
Please, go on.
Let's start with Pete Buttigieg. I thought he would be a very interesting person to have on the show. So 5 months ago in September, I reached out to his national campaign team.
Oh, no, this is very sad.
And I said, hello, my name is Jason Stein. I'm a producer with the Vegas Take. We have this great radio show in town. And the caucuses are going to be held in February. There's going to be a big debate here. And I know it's 5 months early, but I just want to introduce myself and, maybe lay the groundwork for getting candidate Pete Buttigieg on the show at some point.
Hold on a second. I need a tissue. I'm getting a little choked up. We can turn the music off now. I'm getting the music's really. Thank you, Stephen. The music's really starting to get to me a little bit. I'm getting a little choked up.
It was actually helping me.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, okay. So I said to the Buttigieg people, we'd love to get him in as it gets closer to caucus time, but we'll take him anytime. I mean, in studio, on the phone, whatever. We'd love to have Pete Buttigieg in. And they said, yeah, I think that's very doable. We'd love to do that. And then about a month later, his Nevada state director, communications director, whatever she is, came in here to visit. Remember, she came by the studio. She wanted to make sure, because these people, I told you, they're very cautious. They don't want to put their candidate on an outlet that's going to ambush them and make them look bad. Everything is about appearances. So she wanted to come in and she wanted to meet Brian and JD and me and see the studio and listen to a little bit of our show. We actually had Dina Titus on that day, our Democrat, which was perfect timing because she heard the interview and said, oh, you guys are really fair. You're fair to Democrats. You're fair to Republicans.
We had Donald Trump's
communications
director on yesterday.
That's right.
I asked him the difficult questions, but I was very fair to him. We are always fair to our guests, and I am always respectful to my guests, so long as they are respectful to me. And he was very respectful to our show, and we had a great interview, and I'm very confident he will come on again. I interview more Republicans than Democrats.
Oh, we definitely put more conservatives on this show.
So now, if somebody calls into the show and they say something racist, or they accuse me of something that I didn't say or do, or I, like, for example, if somebody calls up and, if I'm saying something negative about Trump, and I back up my opinions with, I always do. And they call up and say, well, where were you with Obama? Where were you, blah, blah, blah. I can't stand it.
Or if they call you a libtard.
I can't stand it when people do that because they're ignorant.
Because they don't want to have a conversation. They just want to attack you.
So that is when I attack them.
We're all about dialogue here.
Exactly. Go ahead, Stein. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting.
And I'm sorry for interrupting you, Brian. So where was I? Oh, yeah. So the Buttigieg chick comes in here, and
so when you say Buttigieg chick, she was in the campaign.
She is. So here's how it basically works in a nutshell. You contact the national campaign.
Yes.
You tell them where you're from, and they say, okay, I'm going to put you in touch with the state people. The state people are the ones you need to talk to. So this woman is the communications director for Pete in Nevada. Perfect person to be talking to.
Gotcha.
Her job, as I understand it, I'm a political science major, but I graduated college 20 years ago. And it's been a while, so my brain's a little fuzzy. But my understanding is a communications person, their job is to get favorable press for their candidate.
Yeah.
Is to get them on as many outlets as possible.
And she didn't do that.
Well, do you see Pete Buttigieg here?
He's not here. No.
So anyway, 5 months back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. It's going to happen. Pete Buttigieg, it's going to happen closer to the caucus. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And here we are this week, debate week, 3 days to go till the caucus, and they offer me some congressman from the East Coast that no one's ever heard of. Well, we got this great congressman to come on. He's a great advocate for Pete. I think you'll really enjoy interviewing him. And
what was their reason for not being able to get us Pete for 10 minutes on the phone at any point this week? Did they give you a reason?
No reason.
Well, let me just say this.
Just so that, I mean, is it incompetence?
Let me just say this. I think you got, this is my opinion on
this.
this.
Is it stupidity?
I've been covering news and politics for 20 years. The problem
what do they do? The communications director, what is their job if they can't get someone on a local radio show?
I think the problem is the person you were talking to, who is the Nevada campaign manager for Buttigieg, has literally probably no authority.
Then why do they exist?
Just so, they can say they have a job, I guess. I don't know. But the problem is you're dealing with a lot of these millennials, people that are in their 20s, who have just a little bit of power, and they abuse that power to an extent, and it gives them an ego. They don't understand how this stuff works. They don't understand that when you're talking to middle America, when you're talking to people that are in the middle, not necessarily just Democrats, people even that are on the right, and you go on a show like this, it could absolutely help your campaign. It's not going to hurt your campaign.
We have a lot of independents. I
what do
always
they do?
make that point is that our audience is full of politically independent people. And they can vote in the caucus.
So what do they do? I think Booker is a perfect example of that. When we tried to get Booker on the show, and he goes on the Wendy Williams show and some of these other national shows. Didn't do any local radio here, and then boom, he's out of it because he wasn't even getting 1%.
Kamala Harris.
Another perfect example where Harris was supposed to come on our show, and she backed out last second. How did that work out for her campaign? I'm not saying these candidates have to be on our show and they
No.
absolutely need us, but I don't think it would hurt their campaign, and it's good to speak to the local voters out there. Now, again, you're dealing with millennials. Buttigieg, I'm not going to blame him because I don't think it's his fault, and I truly believe if somebody went up to him yesterday and said, hey, we got this local radio show here in Las Vegas. Can we do 10 minutes on the phone? I am very confident he would say yes because he's the kind of guy that goes on Fox News. He'll go on anywhere.
He would do it.
Right, but you got a lot of incompetent people that don't understand how this stuff works. They think just because they've worked on some campaigns, they understand how the media works. Guess what? They don't. And one thing Donald Trump is good at is he is very good at manipulating the media, and he does a bunch of interviews, and he knows how to manipulate the media. These Democrats, I am so frustrated with them. First of all, they don't even know who the hell they want to win. The Democratic Party, they don't even know who they're supposed to support. They can't even get a caucus right. And you think you're going to beat Donald Trump? The Democratic Party is a mess right now.
It is. Isn't this kind of, and that's an excellent point, Brian. What I'm describing here, where you can't even get, by the way, if you saw the odds, for it's a kind of a fun bookmaker thing that they did. You can't really bet on it, but it shows, and it's probably consistent with the polls too, Brian, is that Bernie's probably going to win the Nevada caucus, or Joe Biden, but it's going to be very close. That's probably the 1-2. And then Buttigieg is way down there. So you would think that you'd want to come on and help your chances, right?
Well, you know what? After we see the caucus results, and I have a funny feeling that Biden's going to have a good result in Nevada. I think he's going to finish second. I would not be surprised if Elizabeth Warren finished ahead of Buttigieg either. She had a pretty good debate the other night. If that does happen, glad to talk about it on the air.
Well, if these candidates continue to shun the local news outlets, then it's a microcosm of the whole election 2020. And look, Trump's team is playing the game much better. Now, I just want to give credit real quick to the Biden people. They did get us Jill Biden. We had her on last Friday, and that was great.
And they've at least contacted you.
And they've been very good about getting in touch with me, and they're doing their best. But, man, some of these campaigns, Brian, I mean, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating.
They're awful. It's a joke. And, there's many of these people that are not very good at their job. And that's unfortunate. There's never an excuse not to get back to somebody. I can't imagine Amy Klobuchar is getting 100 interview requests in Nevada every day. I can't imagine that Pete Buttigieg. Now, yeah, I'm sure there's some national outlets that want to speak to him. We're talking about the Nevada caucus, which is tomorrow, okay? Yeah. Do a couple local interviews. I haven't seen him on any local TV either.
No, I haven't. Let me ask you this. Let's say you work on one of those campaigns, but on the national level. Let's say you work for Amy Klobuchar or Pete Buttigieg or one of the people that is a little bit lower in the polls in Nevada that really needs a boost to keep their momentum going. And you come in third or fourth or fifth place in Nevada. And you go to your state people and you say, what happened? Well,
right.
We're in fourth. We came in fourth place. Why didn't you do your job?
Maybe because you were doing
all these...
What
do you say if you're that state person?
You were doing all these... Here's the problem.
Why didn't you get us on local radio? Why didn't you get us on...
Here's the problem.
What's that conversation going to be like?
I'll tell you what the issue is. They're doing these fundraisers, right, for their campaign. And then they're doing these speeches. They're going around making speeches where you're maybe meeting a couple hundred people, at these and they're shaking hands and taking pictures. And maybe the local news covers it, and they show a couple tidbits of a clip of what you said, maybe a 10-second soundbite. That doesn't do justice. When you go on a TV show or a radio show, you do 20 to 25 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, and you get to actually hear that person speak, whereas those that were not at that event, they don't get to see that. That's why I think it is a strategic mistake. You go around and you do all these fundraisers, everything. How difficult would it be to just give one of these candidates the phone and say, hey, after lunch or before lunch, after breakfast, here you go. Can you talk to this show for 10 minutes on the phone? It's not difficult to do. The thing is, they're not even going that far. They're not even asking the candidate. It's right. Probably, it might not even getting to the campaign manager. At best case scenario, the local Nevada campaign manager to Pete Buttigieg might have, and by the way, I'm not so confident she did, might have said to the campaign manager, hey, what do you think about this local radio? And maybe the manager said, no, we're not doing that because he's an idiot. Because he's an idiot. They're idiots. That's what it comes down to. The people that are running some of these campaigns are morons. And the people that are running the Democratic Party right now are morons. They don't even know who they want to win. They have no idea. The guy that is the front runner isn't even a Democrat. He's a socialist.
Right.
It makes no sense to me. It's absurd. And then they wonder why they're going to lose to Donald Trump in 2020. They have their heads up their asses, these people. That's what's going on.
If I'm getting paid to be the communications director for Nevada, I'm doing everything in my power to get these guys on the air on not just the Vegas Take, other radio stations in town, the music stations, the TV stations, the newspapers.
Listen, it's not that
anything I can do,
difficult.
because you know what? There may be a few percentage points that separate fifth from fourth and fourth from third and third from second place. It might come down to a few thousand votes. And who knows, with doing all that local media, if you change people's opinions, because a lot of people don't know who they're going to vote for yet. They make up their minds at the last minute.
I don't know.
And
I still don't know.
You know, it's very important that these early states that you have a good showing, because then with the good showing, you get good publicity and you get momentum going into the next stage.
Funny because I
think it's a very crucial thing.
It's funny because I see some of these people on social media who have absolutely no idea how the radio business works. And they'll say, well, why don't you do an interview with Sean Hannity? Why don't you do an interview with Donald Trump? They think all we got to do is pick up the phone and ask somebody and they'll just come on. That's not how this works. You know, that is not how this works. And it's pretty simple to me. And I think they're making a very big mistake. Many of these campaign managers, I think a lot of them are completely and utterly useless with zero power. I'm telling you.
Well, thank you for letting me vent.
No problem. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, why is Devin Nunes talking about Donald Trump naked? Well, we'll explain why coming up next. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. Do not forget to buy lentils, or the lentil soup you're making for dinner will be sorely lacking. By the way, Mrs. Calloway says thanks for helping her bundle home and auto. She appreciates the extra savings, even though you kept using the word apropos incorrectly. But the main thing is, do not forget to buy, what was it? Something apropos the lentil soup. Sorry, I'll call you back.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their number one priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the number one employer on the 2020 Military-Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Imagine crossing a street busy with traffic. Against the light.
Watch where you're going!
Wearing a blindfold. Would you do this? Probably not. It's one risk obviously not worth taking. Some risks aren't as obvious, yet could be just as deadly, like the risk for type 2 diabetes. If you're overweight or over 45, if you're not very active, or don't eat as healthy as you should, there's an easy test you can take to find out your risk. It's free, and in less than a minute, you'll know if you're at risk for this deadly disease. Just go to diabetes.org/take-the-test or call 1-800-DIABETES. Because type 2 diabetes is one risk you can't afford to take. Take the diabetes risk test and stop diabetes before it stops you. A message from the American Diabetes Association.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 AM. KDON.
Welcome back. It's the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Friday. A lot of stuff to get to coming up at the bottom of the hour. Amber Athey, Washington editor for The Spectator, will be joining us on the show. Talk a little bit about her thoughts on the debate. Of course, Roger Stone, she's been covering that. Will he be pardoned? Why is Devin Nunes talking about Donald Trump naked all the time? And this guy's just a freaking weirdo. He really is. So if you don't know this story, he's suing a parody account. That's what Nunes is doing. That's right. He's suing a parody account. It has to do with a phone call that was made with Adam Schiff by Russian pranksters, one of whom was posing as a member of the Ukrainian parliament. The pranksters claim that Russian President Vladimir Putin possessed compromising materials on Trump, including nude pictures. Now, the pranksters claimed that Putin promised Trump to keep that material secret in exchange for dropping U.S. sanctions on Russia. This story's over with now. Nobody's talking about it anymore. The Democrats aren't talking about it anymore, except for Devin Nunes. Maybe he needs to star on To Catch a Predator. I don't know what this guy's doing. But apparently he, again, brought up these naked pictures on Laura Ingram's show last night. On national television, he brought it up again. What is his fascination with wanting to see Donald Trump naked is beyond me. But the Twitter world is having a little fun with this. It's pretty cool. One girl named Heather says Nunes and the whole naked pictures thing is totally weird. Another guy named Brian on Twitter says there are 16-year-old boys who aren't half as persistent for nudes from girls as Nunes is for Trump. And says, it goes on, and it's pretty funny. Elizabeth says he's so obsessed, he just blurts it out every time. Then we got a guy named I Will Be the Hero who says Devin Nunes is the only person I've ever heard mention this. No one else has ever talked about this. He really wants nude pictures of Donald Trump. Somebody else named Dave says he just wants to see those very, very luscious man boobs. Somebody else says that dude is a psychologist's dream with his constant talk of nude pictures of Trump. What is the fascination of this? It just doesn't make any sense. So here's the audio. If you wanted to listen to it, here's the audio of Devin Nunes on the Laura Ingraham show last night.
Well, Laura, thank you for pointing out how ridiculous this is. I mean, maybe all the fake news reporters will finally find the nude pictures of Trump that Adam Schiff and the Democrats were looking for.
You know what? When Devin Nunes even says the word nude, it makes me want to throw up because he's so disgusting himself. What is his obsession with this? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. The only person that should be talking about Donald Trump and naked is Melania Trump, even though it's probably been at least a decade since she's seen him naked. Also, President Trump is now pushing aside the acting director of the National Intelligence, Joseph McGuire. Why? Well, apparently Donald Trump was angry that lawmakers were briefed about Russia's plan to interfere in the 2020 election to help his re-election campaign. Now, what would a normal president do? What would a normal, decent human being do? Well, if he heard of information that Russia was trying to hack into the elections to try to help him or not, he would want to know everything he needs to know about that, but not Donald Trump. Donald Trump has the opposite reaction. The absolute opposite reaction. He wants people held accountable just for bringing this stuff up. So do you see what I'm getting at here, folks? His number one priority is not you and me. His number one priority is not trying to figure out who is doing this Russian meddling. His number one priority has nothing to do with any of that stuff. He's not going to praise people for doing their due diligence to getting this information out. His first reaction is anger, because all he cares about is himself. Then his second reaction is, how do we get some of these people fired? How do we get some of these people out of here so this information never comes up again? That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. He's obviously not taking this seriously. An official confirming to NBC News that McGuire was under consideration to be the permanent DNI, but now will not get the job and will soon leave his post. Wow, what a shocker. What a shocker. You mean somebody released some information and Donald Trump didn't like it, so now he's out the door. Boy, we've seen that before, haven't we? Wasn't it Vindman that was escorted out of the White House along with his brother not that long ago, and Republicans were defending the action? I wonder how they're going to defend this. I really do. Coming up next, Amber Athey she's the Washington editor for the Spectator. She'll be joining us next on the show. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
A 7-day period of reduced fighting begins 2 hours from now. The countdown to the signing of a peace agreement between the U.S. and the Taliban. Correspondent Barbara Starr with a statement from Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
After decades of conflict, we have come to an understanding with the Taliban on a significant reduction in violence across Afghanistan. This is an important step on a long road to peace, and I call on all Afghans to seize this opportunity.
Democratic presidential hopefuls continue to campaign in Nevada ahead of tomorrow's caucuses. Nevada Democratic Party Chairman William McCurdy says there will not be a repeat of the problems in Iowa.
We are doing the work, we are keeping our head down, and we know that come tomorrow, we will execute a successful caucus, and folks will feel very confident with what we've been able to show the rest of the nation.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down almost 1%. I'm Ann Cates.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Letterman Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Allstate. A crash reported on the 215 Southern Beltway eastbound Eastern Avenue at the on-ramp, and a crash on 95 southbound at Cheyenne Avenue. Vehicles off to the left. And the presidential motorcade drivers can expect heavy rolling closures and heavy delays on and around Desert Inn, also Paradise, Las Vegas Boulevard, Sahara, and Maryland Parkway. With an Allstate agent, you get local expert and help finding the best coverage for you. Plus, when you bundle home and auto, you can save. So call your local Allstate agent today. Are you in good hands? I'm John Michaels from the KDAWN Traffic Center.
Hi, Doug Basham here. Join me Saturday afternoons from 2 to 4, and I'll tell you what your conservative, corporate-controlled, right-wing propaganda hate media isn't. You're welcome. That's Saturday afternoons, 2 to 4. Be there.
Deborah's home was stolen. No, I don't mean thieves stole stuff. I mean scammers literally stole her home. The FBI calls title theft one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes. And this story is why you need Home Title Lock. Deborah says criminals found the title to our home online and filed fraudulent documents claiming they owned our home. Wait, it gets worse. Deborah goes on to say, I was evicted from my own home and 85 grand in equity gone. Nobody believes you can get your home stolen this easily. This is why you need Home Title Lock, because no insurance or bank protects your home from title theft. First things first, go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if your home's title has been tampered with. You need to protect the legal title to your home so you don't end up like Deborah. Go to HometitleLock.com now for 60 risk-free days of protection. Again, that's HometitleLock.com. HometitleLock.com.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro on a Friday. Glad you could join us. Also broadcasting live on YouTube. Check it out. Our YouTube page is the Vegas Take, so just punch that in there, and you'll find my pretty face anytime you like. A lot going on in the political world. As you know, the Nevada caucuses tomorrow. We're going to find out most likely who's going to win. But joining us on the line right now, her name is Amber Athey. She is the Washington editor for The Spectator, and she joins us right now on the line doing a great job. Amber, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Why don't we start with the debate? Obviously, you watched the Democratic debate the other night, and I had some strong opinions on it. I think Bloomberg was the big loser. I don't think that Klobuchar had a great debate either, and I thought the big winner was Elizabeth Warren. How did you see it?
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren obviously scored a lot of points by a very effective attack on Mike Bloomberg and his alleged sexism and history of sexual harassment. She hammered him for his non-disclosure agreements with numerous women who have worked for his companies, even repeating some of the nasty things he allegedly said to these women. And he really was unprepared for that line of attack. He had very little defense, only saying that the NDAs were consensual and that he wouldn't let the women out of them. However, I don't think Elizabeth Warren was the big winner. I actually think it was Bernie Sanders. And that's because he managed to escape a lot of attacks from his opponents, despite the fact that he really is the front runner, because they were so focused on Mike Bloomberg. So actually, the effective strategy for these people would have been to actually ignore Bloomberg a little bit more and start hammering Bernie, because he's really their biggest challenger right now. He's leading in Nevada. He won New Hampshire, won the popular vote in Iowa, and is polling nationally the best out of all of the candidates.
That's a good point, and there's no question that Bernie Sanders is the heavy favorite to win this in Nevada, no doubt about that. Let's talk a little bit about Elizabeth Warren and Bloomberg, because as you mentioned, she went after Bloomberg on all these non-disclosures. Now, yesterday she kind of doubled down on it. She's doing a town hall at the Sahara on Las Vegas Boulevard, and she wrote up this contract, or one of her people wrote up a contract to release the women from these NDAs, and she says all Bloomberg has to do is sign it. I would imagine there is absolutely no chance he's going to sign it, but what did you make of that?
Well, I think she obviously got a lot of attention for that stunt during the debate, so it's smart of her to double down. She's been polling pretty poorly over the past several weeks, if not couple of months, and she did try this against Bernie Sanders. You'll remember she accused him of being a secret sexist and of telling her in a private meeting that he did not think a woman could win the presidency. That attack did not work. One, because there was really no proof that he had ever said that. It was a he said, she said. And two, people have a hard time believing that Bernie Sanders is a secret sexist, considering he's championed women for much of his career. But when you look at Mike Bloomberg, there's numerous reports about the dozens on dozens of examples of alleged sexual harassment and making nasty comments to women. So she has a much clearer path there to make this attack against him. It worked out really well for her at the debate. Stands to reason that she should continue doubling down.
One more question about Bloomberg, Amber, because I'm confused about this. Here's a man that has put hundreds of millions of dollars into his campaign, and it seemed like he didn't do 10 minutes of homework. He had to know, and his campaign advisors had to know that they were going to go after him on this debate stage about this stuff. His defense was a joke. I mean, he responds by saying, I was nice to some women, and then his other response is, well, maybe some of these people didn't like some of the jokes I made. That's the best defense that he could come up with. I thought it was an embarrassment.
This is just about as arrogant as you can get as a politician. He thought that because of his history as New York City mayor and the amount of money that he's poured into this debate, that he could skate by with these horrible excuses for some of these things that he's said and done. And the bottom line is that just doesn't work unless maybe you're Donald Trump and you respond by attacking back 10 times harder. You can't just have that type of response to these types of allegations. There has to be a real explanation. And clearly Bloomberg thought that he could go into this debate and skate by on his money and on his reputation, and did not prepare for what certainly was going to be a field coming out of the gate to go after him because of his surge in the polls.
I think he's done, Amber. My personal opinion is, even if he has a decent debate next time around, I think he's done. I think most Democrats see that he has no chance of defeating Donald Trump on a debate stage. What do you say to that?
I don't think he's quite dead yet, for the sole reason that he has obviously a ton of national ads even before he hit the debate stage. He has been surging in the polls because people think that he could defeat President Donald Trump. But I do think that it damaged him severely, and people are starting to rethink his candidacy. And he'll have to really pull out all of the stops if he wants to be more successful in the future. But at the same time, it seems like it's much of a lesser risk if the Democrats choose another candidate, because Bloomberg has already pledged billions of dollars to whoever the Democratic nominee is. So why not get rid of all of Bloomberg's baggage and just accept his money?
It is funny with a lot of these Democrats, right? They'll get this guy off the stage, but hey, we'll take your money. If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Amber Athey. Does a great job as the Washington editor for the Spectator. Okay, Amber, let me ask you this question. Right now, I mean, you kind of alluded to it already, but right now it's got to be Bernie Sanders that is the favorite. That months down the road will be on the stage with Donald Trump. Is that fair to say? And do you still think Joe Biden, don't count him out yet either? Because I thought he had a decent debate the other night.
It certainly seems like Bernie is the current frontrunner. Obviously, a lot of things can happen between now and the time of the convention. Joe Biden has been fading for quite some time now, but he could pick up steam in South Carolina. He obviously has a lot of support among Black voters, so that could always be a rebound point for him. But I think, I'm loath to make predictions because at one point Joe Biden was the front runner, then Elizabeth Warren was the front runner, now Bernie Sanders is the front runner. Things in politics change so quickly. It's a bad idea to stake your bets on any one candidate.
All right, Amber, you've been covering the Roger Stone case. I want to get to that. Obviously, we learned that he's going to be receiving up to around 40 months behind bars. And now we learned this story that just came out that at least there is one juror that at least Donald Trump is stating that has been tainted. What can you tell us about that? What can you tell us about the sentence? And do you think that Donald Trump will eventually pardon Roger Stone?
Look, the lead juror in this case had demonstrated a significant anti-Trump bias and had actually retweeted articles about Roger Stone's indictment prior to joining the jury. Now, that's problematic because in an affidavit in court documents, she stated that she was not that familiar with the case and that her bias against Trump would not cloud her judgment. It's really hard to believe, based on the fact that she called Trump the #Klan president, that she would not have some type of animus towards some of his allies. And Roger Stone's legal team made this case to Judge Amy Berman Jackson, and she denied them a mistrial or the opportunity at having a retrial. Now, what we do have here is a revision of the initial recommended sentence, which was up to 9 years. Now he's received just about 40 months, but it still seems like a little bit of a severe sentence for someone who has committed a nonviolent crime and essentially was convicted of exaggerating about certain connections he had to WikiLeaks. The entire thing seems like a politically biased justice system that has gone after someone because of their ties to the president and not because he did anything that was particularly egregious or even really that criminal.
No, listen, I completely agree with you. And I don't know if you'll agree with me on this because these are two separate cases. I personally do not believe that Paul Manafort or Michael Avenatti would be in jail right now as we speak if they somehow were not involved with Trump. Obviously, Manafort, the former campaign manager to Donald Trump, and Michael Avenatti has been going after Donald Trump for decades. I'm not saying they didn't break the law. What I'm saying is if they didn't go, if they weren't associated with the arguably the most powerful man in the world right now, I don't think they would be in jail. Would you add those two in there and put all three in that category?
And you can throw Michael Flynn in there as well.
Right.
All of this stems from the fact that there was a false allegation that the Trump campaign had colluded with Russia.
Right.
That's where all of these Trump allies have been indicted on things like financial crimes, process crimes, in the course of the Mueller investigation. And yet at the end of all of it, we found out that there indeed was no evidence there was collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. So it certainly seems like these people have been unfairly railroaded. Again, did they commit crimes? Yes. But you have to look at the origin of this investigation and question whether or not any of this should have ever been coming to trial in the first place.
No, I agree. I could not agree with you more. Amber, you do a great job over there at the Spectator. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us. Love to have you again down the road. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. That's Amber Athey, Washington editor of The Spectator, joining us on the line. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, remember, we've been talking about this, Rush Limbaugh's homophobic comments in regards to Pete Buttigieg. Well, now Pete Buttigieg is responding, and even the president having a private conversation with Rush Limbaugh about those comments. Remember, this is the man he gave the Medal of Freedom Award to. Is he backing Rush Limbaugh? We'll tell you exactly what he said to Rush Limbaugh coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Our best vapor yet at our best price ever, 99 cents, plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pods sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
Paul Blanco's new automotive butler service. We collect your information by phone or website. You'll receive your credit score, pre-approval, and third-party administrative appraisal without coming in. We even offer home delivery. I'm Paul Blanco, and I promise your licensed professional automotive butler present you with budget-friendly vehicles from Honda, Toyota, Nissan, Subaru, Chevy, Dodge, Mercedes, BMW, and more. You choose. Then let Paul Blanco help you get approved. Get approved before you shop and save money at paulblancosgoodcarpeople.com.
When a counselor asked how much my husband drinks, I said, not that much. I don't know why I said that. He always drank too much. But I guess I'm so used to keeping it a secret that I didn't tell the truth to myself or anyone else. My husband has drinks with friends after work. He has a couple of drinks at home with dinner and a few more while we watch TV. Pretty soon he's shouting at me and blaming me for all of his problems. I just can't take it anymore. A counselor recommended Al-Anon family groups. She said Al-Anon members have had experiences just like mine, and they would explain how Al-Anon is helping them. I didn't want to go to Al-Anon, but I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking breaking your heart? You might be surprised at what you can learn at an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Friday. Plenty of stuff to get to. The Hollywood conservative Mr. X will be joining us. We have Vegas Take Jeopardy coming up in hour number 2. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we've been talking a lot about Rush Limbaugh's comments. The world is talking about it. Homophobic comments that were made in regards to Mayor Pete. Now, this should be no surprise to many. We've talked about these comments. We've played many of these comments. In the history of Rush Limbaugh's career, he's made plenty of homophobic comments. He's said plenty of things that are racist. This is not up for debate. We have the quotes. We have the audio. We played them on the show. Make no mistake about it, Rush Limbaugh's a racist, and that's why he was fired from ESPN, because of the racist comments he made. Rush is a racist and a misogynistic pig. These are some of the comments Rush made just last week about Mayor Pete. Have a listen to this.
They're looking at Mayor Pete. 37-year-old gay guy, Mayor of South Bend, loves to kiss his husband on the debate stage. And they're saying, okay, how's this going to look? 37-year-old gay guy kissing his husband on stage next to Mr. Man, Donald Trump. What's going to happen there?
Yeah, if there's any person I would call a man in the world, the last person I would call is Donald Trump. Pete Buttigieg is 100 times the man of Donald Trump. Pete Buttigieg risked his life for this country. Donald Trump dodged the military because of his quote-unquote bone spurs. Who's the real man here, Rush, you pig? Likes to kiss his husband on the stage. Did Rush ever say that about George W. Bush? Likes to kiss his wife on the stage? Did he say that about Donald Trump? Although I don't see them kissing very often. Likes to kiss Melania on the stage, although I would question whether Melania likes to kiss him at all. Have you ever heard Rush say that on his show? No. He's saying it to mock Pete Buttigieg for being gay, period. Don't you tell me we're taking it out of context. Rush is homophobic, and that's exactly why he made those comments. Anti-gay. So now Rush is saying he had a private conversation with Donald Trump. And that Donald Trump, what a shocker here, told him never to apologize for his comments about Pete Buttigieg. Now, have we ever heard Donald Trump apologize for anything? So this shouldn't be a shocker, right? Doesn't matter what you say. Never apologize for a mistake that you made. And by the way, this isn't a mistake. These are Rush Limbaugh's true feelings about homosexuals. So have a listen to Rush talking about the private conversation he had with the president the other day.
I think they are mad about my remarks about Mayor Pete because they think a lot of people didn't know that he's gay. I'm talking about the low information voters, the great unwashed. I think they think that there's a lot of people that don't know he's gay and that I sort of dropped the dime on it.
Okay, first of all, Rush just being a complete lying buffoon. A lot of people don't know Pete Buttigieg is gay. That would be like a lot of people didn't know that Rush isn't 300 pounds. Give me a break. Is this a joke? How many people in society that are voters that listen to Rush Limbaugh, of all people, do not know that Pete Buttigieg is gay? You know what Rush is doing? I'll tell you exactly what he's doing. He's trying to defend his remarks by saying, well, listen, I was just trying to inform people that Pete Buttigieg is gay. And by the way, that's not what he said. It's not like he went on his show and said, by the way, for you folks out there that didn't know, Pete Buttigieg is a homosexual. He didn't say that. He mocked Pete Buttigieg for being gay. That's exactly what he did. It's ridiculous, and it is a lie. What a shocker. Rush Limbaugh lying. What a shocker. Defending the indefensible. What a shocker. Donald Trump telling him not to apologize. Because even when Donald Trump apologized after that grab him by the P word audio that came out in video, the next day, he backtracked on his apology. He says, I'm not even sure that was my voice. Donald Trump has never sincerely apologized probably for anything in his life, including the way he's treated women, the cheating scandals, and everything else. And Rush Limbaugh is just another Donald Trump clone. That's what he is. Another middle-aged, older, white, obese man who thinks it's okay to hate on homosexuals and minorities. And by the way, Pete Buttigieg is responding to this. He responded to it in a CNN town hall earlier in the week. And here's what Pete Buttigieg had to say about this Rush Trump situation.
The idea of the likes of Rush Limbaugh or Donald Trump lecturing anybody on family values, I mean, I'm sorry, but one thing about my marriage is it's never involved me having to send hush money to a porn star after cheating on my spouse with him or her. So, they want to debate family values? Let's debate family values. I'm ready.
Good, and I'm glad he said that because he's 100% right. You want to talk about family values? Let's talk about Donald Trump's ex-wives. Let's talk about the cheating scandals. Let's talk about all the sexual, his sexcapades of Donald Trump. I don't care what Pete Buttigieg's sexual orientation is. What you should care about it as an American. What you should care about, but sadly, many of the right-wing radicals out there, they care more about whether you're straight or gay than if you cheat on your husband or wife. Talk about not being able to prioritize what's important. What would you rather have? If I spoke to a right-wing radical Christian and I asked him or her, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a gay president that has had one spouse his or her entire life, a good man or woman, a good parent, or would you rather have a straight man in office that has several ex-wives, that has probably had sex with over 300 women in his lifetime? What would you rather have? And I guarantee you many of the right-wing radicals out there would say, well, we'd rather have the straight guy in office. You people are deplorables. Hillary Clinton was right when she said deplorables. For those of you that would answer a question like that, you're a deplorable. What does it matter to you what the sexual orientation is of a candidate? No, really, I want to know. And I'll open up the phone lines. Why is it so important to you? Why do you care what the sexual orientation is of a person that is running for office? I want to get that answer from you. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, that number is 257-5396. And Rush Limbaugh is also a coward, just like our dodger of the military, Donald Trump. And the reason why he's a coward is because now he's not apologizing for what he said, but he's saying he was just trying to educate his listeners. Because as he says, a lot of people don't know that Pete Buttigieg is gay. A lot of people just don't know. That is a lie. That is a blatant lie. Make no mistake about it. It is an absolute lie. You mean to tell me that people that are voting don't know that Mayor Pete is gay? And by the way, here's another thing. If Rush Limbaugh really wanted to educate his listeners, which I don't think he wants to do, but let's just, hypothetically speaking, for argument's sake, then why would you talk about him kissing another man on a stage? Why would you even talk about kissing at all? Why wouldn't you just say, hey, you guys might not be aware of this, but Pete Buttigieg is gay? He could have just mentioned it like that, and I wouldn't have had a problem with that. I don't think anybody would have had a problem with that. But he has a history of saying racist, homophobic, misogynistic comments over the course of his career. We all know that. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Logan. Logan, you are first up on the Vegas Take. What do you say to all this? What's going on?
How's it going, guys?
Good, man.
I love listening to this part of it just because you guys have everything with Republican and Democrat. It's not just one-sided. But I'm nonpartisan myself.
Yep.
I don't give a hell what his orientation or what his plans are as far as sexual preference.
Yep.
Because it really doesn't matter, especially nowadays.
Right.
I mean, that's an uphill fight, but compared to Trump, I mean, really, what are you comparing? You can't compare the two. I don't think it matters what his preference is. If Trump was gay, what would be the difference?
Well, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't personally care if Trump was gay or not.
There wouldn't be a difference.
Well, but the difference is the evangelical right in this country will not vote for somebody who's a homosexual. They just won't.
Well, I'm Christian myself, and I attend church every Sunday.
Would you vote for Pete Buttigieg? Would you vote for Pete Buttigieg?
Yes, I would, absolutely.
Well, then obviously there's a minority. But I still believe the majority, and maybe I didn't use that term, there's exceptions always, right, Logan? And you're one of them, and I'm happy to hear that about you. But I believe there are a lot of people on the evangelical right that would call Pete Buttigieg a sinner, and they wouldn't vote for him because of his sexual orientation, but yet they keep their mouth shut when Donald Trump makes hush money, $120,000 payment to Stormy Daniels after having unprotected sex with her a few months. Yeah, I mean, they're hypocrites, right, Logan?
I agree with you. And honestly speaking, 70% of Christian everything is a lot of hypocriticalness. But when it comes down to spinning, as far as putting your attention to who you're going to vote to, that I can't believe that the people that voted for Trump would take into consideration a sin with sexual, but not anything that Trump has done.
Well, Logan, you make a great point there, and the word
you're going to tell me Trump gives 10% of his income to a church? No.
Maybe to porn stars. Logan, I'm glad that there are people out there like you that don't look at someone based on sexuality or discriminate against them or let that affect their vote. Logan, it's good to hear from you, and I do appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much.
Take care.
All right, you too, my man. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Dave. Dave, you're next up on the Vegas Take. Dave, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. What's going on, my man?
Hey, this is a first-time caller. Hey, I'm just thinking along the lines of the comment about kissing on stage.
Yeah.
Basically, how many times do you watch a movie? And I'm not really anti-gay. I just don't want to see it.
Neither do I.
And it's just to where you're watching a TV show, and we've counted. Okay, all of a sudden you see gays kissing.
Right.
And you watch the show, and you never see male heterosexual, kiss, the male-female kissing. And that's all. I mean, it's just.
What do you mean?
That comment,
what do you mean you don't see heteros? I don't understand. You don't see men and women kissing on.
Watching a TV show, we have found how many times you would see. Okay.
All right. Well, let me be clear, Dave. Let me be. I understand, Dave. Let me be clear. I don't want to see two men kissing any more than I want to see Donald Trump tonguing Melania Trump. I'm being honest with you.
Exactly. Me neither.
Yeah.
But it's just where that was the statement. I mean, I can understand that. Rush. I used to listen to Rush. I don't listen to him anymore.
No, listen, Dave, I'm happy to hear you say that, my man, and we're glad that you're listening to our show. I apologize, my friend. I'm up against a hard break, but I understand what you're saying. I think I do. And thank you for listening to our show, because we don't say racist, homophobic things on this show. We're going to take a quick break. We'll take more of your calls on this on the other side. 702-257-5396. Will you not vote for Pete Buttigieg because he's gay? We want to hear from you. 257-5396. Your calls on the other side of the break.
Your home for Sean Hannity, KDWN Las Vegas, KKLZ HD2 Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Taliban peace agreement, the 2020 race. I'm Ann Cates. The U.S. and the Taliban will sign a peace pact on February 29th after a week-long period of reduced violence in Afghanistan. Correspondent Barbara Starr.
This first part is still going to be very challenging. Getting to a peace agreement, that as well, because the Taliban keep saying they want all foreign forces out of the country. The U.S. determined to have that reduction in force, to be able for President Trump to say it, that he's bringing troops home, but still planning to leave about 8,600 troops there for the time being to fight counterterrorism.
It's a final full day of campaigning for Democratic presidential contenders in Nevada. Nevada Democratic Party Chairman William McCurdy says they're prepared for any contingency.
We've put our head down, we've gotten to work, and we've made sure to implement off-the-shelf, low-tech option, which is our caucus calculator that will enable our precinct chairs, who will be largely working with the caucus calculator on caucus day, to be able to enter in that data and also help them eliminate human error. And I believe that it will go just fine.
Jurors in the rape trial of former movie mogul Harvey Weinstein are back in court today.
Weinstein entered the criminal courthouse in Manhattan as he did ahead of the 3 previous days of deliberations, stepping out of an SUV and using a walker as he was surrounded by his defense team. Once again, he told reporters that he felt good as he entered the courtroom on a day when some speculated a verdict could be coming. The jury's last request was for a readback of the cross-examination of actress Annabella Sciorra. She claimed that Harvey Weinstein raped her in the mid-1990s. Her testimony was used by the prosecution to support the charge of predatory sexual assault. Steve Kastenbaum, New York.
Losses today on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is off 197 points. The S&P down 31. The Nasdaq off 141. I'm Ann Cates.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Leonard Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Allstate. A crash reported on the 215 Southern Beltway eastbound Eastern Avenue at the on-ramp, and a crash on 95 southbound at Cheyenne Avenue. Vehicles off to the left. And the presidential motorcade drivers can expect heavy rolling closures and heavy delays on and around Desert Inn, also Paradise, Las Vegas Boulevard, Sahara, and Maryland Parkway. With an Allstate agent, you get local expert and help finding the best coverage for you. Plus, when you bundle home and auto, you can save. So call your local Allstate agent today. Are you in good hands? I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale.
We're aware of it. We laugh about it. We know that there is a lot of shtick in our industry.
Sam and Ash, your personal injury attorneys. Find them at samandash.com.
When your lawyer is too focused on their own image and their own persona, they're not worried about your case.
We don't pretend to be anything other than who we are. We're great lawyers. This is what it's about.
Find out more at samandash.com or call 1-800-304-2000. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
We want you to be proud of us. At the end of the day, you want to go, hey, those are my lawyers.
Transform your bathroom in just one day with the experts at Reborn Bath Solutions. Reborn has been serving Las Vegas for over 3 decades, and right now they're offering 50% off all labor and 1 full year with no interest and no payments. You can't beat that. Make your appointment today, and they'll give you a free $50 Bed Bath & Beyond gift card just for considering them. And with the no-risk remodel, you don't pay until they're done that day. Visit RebornBathSolutions.com today. That's RebornBathSolutions.com.
Banks typically only lend money to people who have good credit. How does that work at Dollar Loan Center?
You know that nearly 40% of the population has a credit score of less than 550 or doesn't have a checking account? And 1 in 4 over 21 use some type of short-term lender? What's my point? Try going to a bank to borrow a couple grand for a few weeks. They have no idea how to help you. And like it or not, that's the exact banking transaction that most people really need.
Been there and done that. It's the norm these days.
We process hundreds of loans every day, most in less than 30 minutes, and we'd love to say yes at Dollar Loan Center.
You heard it straight from Chuck, founder of Dollar Loan Center, where you can get up to $5 grand in real cash. It's easy, quick, and safe. We have over 50 locations where you can apply over the phone or online at don'tbebroke.com.
Licensed by Nevada Financial Institutions Division. Customer must meet the normal loan qualifications. To review loan qualifications, visit us at don'tbebroke.com. Certain limitations may apply. Loans are subject to approval.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM. KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. By the way, coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be playing a game called Vegas Take Jeopardy. Who said it? Mike Bloomberg or Donald Trump? It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll get to that coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're talking a little bit about Rush Limbaugh, his comments that were made on his radio show about Mayor Pete Buttigieg, and I want to play you a clip of something that he said about Mayor Pete a little bit earlier in the week about Pete kissing his husband. Have a listen to this.
The idea of the likes of Rush Limbaugh,
that's not the cut
or
we want.
Donald
we
Trump.
We want the Rush Limbaugh cut. That was the wrong one. We want the first cut where it is.
They're looking at Mayor Pete. 37-year-old gay guy, Mayor South Bend, loves to kiss his husband on the debate stage. And they're saying, okay, how's this going to 37-year-old gay guy kissing his husband on stage next to Mr. Man, Donald Trump? What's going to happen there?
All right, so that's exactly what Rush Limbaugh had said earlier in the week. Now, I want to play you Pete Buttigieg's response to that at a CNN town hall that took place on Tuesday.
The idea of the likes of Rush Limbaugh or Donald Trump lecturing anybody on family values? I mean, I'm sorry, but one thing about my marriage is it's never involved me having to send hush money to a porn star after cheating on my spouse with him or her. So, they want to debate family values? Let's debate family values. I'm ready.
So Buttigieg also made an appearance on Ellen DeGeneres, and he said, look, I guess he just has a different idea of what makes a man than I do. Look, I'm not going to take lectures on family values from the likes of Rush Limbaugh or anybody who supports Donald Trump, frankly. He also said, you know, when I was packing my bags for Afghanistan, Donald Trump was working on season 7 of Celebrity Apprentice. I'm just done with that kind of stuff. And since when is strength about the chest pounding and the loudmouth guy at the end of the bar? I could not agree with Pete Buttigieg more. This is a man who served this country honorably while Donald Trump was trying to build his empire and on Celebrity Apprentice, getting ratings. It is a joke. Pete Buttigieg is 100 times the man that Donald Trump is. But I posed to all of you this question. Do you have a problem with Rush Limbaugh's comments? Do you have a problem with Donald Trump giving Rush Limbaugh a phone call, telling him not to apologize, giving him the Medal of Freedom Award? Or are you one of those people that would not vote for Pete Buttigieg because of the fact he is gay? I want to hear from you. 702-257-5396. Again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 257-5396. Let's go to John. John, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
Good, John. What's on your mind?
I listen to your program sporadically. I mean, not every day. And I don't know, maybe it's me, but every time I put it on, all you're doing, I'm not knocking, you do what you want, it's your show. All you do is knock.
Thank you for that.
You knock Donald Trump, which is your right. I have no argument with that. And to be honest, I don't care if the guy is gay, straight, bi. If he does a good job as president, I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm going to be up front. I am a Republican.
Okay.
And I am conservative, but it's not the idea of that. The idea of what's the country. And before you say anything to me, I don't live in a trailer in Alabama, by the way.
I didn't say you did, John. Did I say you did?
I know. No, I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. So what is your issue then? What is your point?
My issue is that I would wonder if all your liberals and Democrats, they would have said the same thing when Bill Clinton was
Okay, well, hold on a second. When you say all of my liberals and Democrats, what are you trying to say?
All liberals and Democrats.
Yeah.
When Bill Clinton was president.
Okay, well, I can't. Well, listen, John, I don't speak for liberals and Democrats. I speak for myself, and here's what I would say. And if you were listening.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you then.
I can't answer for Democrats and liberals. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Democrat. Ask me the question.
All right. All right. Would you say the same thing about Bill Clinton?
Well, obviously you weren't listening to the show yesterday, because if you were, I talked about Bill Clinton and I spoke about it, and I said what he did was despicable and irresponsible. But I don't know. Okay, hold on a second. Bill Clinton cheated on his wife, and he embarrassed the country with an intern. It was horrible. But you know what's worse than that? Being a racist and being homophobic. I will say on the record right now, I don't condone Donald Trump cheating on his spouse. I don't condone anybody cheating on their spouse, especially if you're the president of the United States, and it's wrong. What is worse than that? Being a racist. Rush Limbaugh was fired from ESPN for racist comments. He is mocking Pete Buttigieg for being gay. So if you have a problem with Bill Clinton, and I do too, by the way. Okay, then I do too. Okay, well, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Bill Clinton. I really don't care.
Okay, well, I'm being honest with you. I have a problem with what he did in the White House, and I have a problem with Donald Trump paying Stormy Daniels a $120,000 hush money payment a week before the election when he cheated on his wife. I have a problem with that. I have a bigger problem with anybody who's a racist and a homophobe, and that is Rush Limbaugh, my friend.
I understand, but to me, it just seems to me that you don't let up on Limbaugh. How do you hate him that much?
Excuse me, I would not be talking about Rush Limbaugh right now if Donald Trump didn't give him the Medal of Freedom Award. You're telling me we couldn't find somebody in this country that's a little better than Rush Limbaugh, that sets a better example for people? That is why I'm talking about Rush Limbaugh. And he also had a private conversation with Donald Trump, and it was Pete Buttigieg at a town hall in Las Vegas the other day who was asked about Rush Limbaugh. So it is in the news, and that is what we do on this show, sir, with all due respect. We talk about what is breaking in the news from a Vegas perspective, and you're damn right I'm going to talk about it. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Paul. Paul, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
Well, you gotta say for sure what Rush Limbaugh said about the mayor was the best thing that he could have said, because it's putting the mayor's name out there. So I'm sure, behind the scenes, he's probably going to send Rush Limbaugh some candy so his boobs can get a little bigger. But
wait, hold on one sec. I agree with you about the boob comment, by the way. We're on par there, my friend.
Yeah.
But you think that's helping Pete Buttigieg when Rush Limbaugh speaks about him in a negative light about his sexuality?
Yeah, but let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because that's part of his platform, is that he's gay. Now, when somebody
I disagree.
like Rush Limbaugh,
No, I disagree. Pete never talks about his sexuality unless he's asked about it.
Okay,
he
but
doesn't.
Do you think somebody being ignorant on a nationally syndicated show hurts the mayor, or I think it helps him? Because now he got to go on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Well, here's the
which
thing.
also helps him.
Here's the thing.
And
Whether
most people are like you and I, we're going to be sympathetic
I
towards the
understand.
fact that it shouldn't have been said.
Paul, I understand with what you're saying, and we can debate back and forth whether it hurts or helps him. I'm not so sure it helps him. But with that being said, to me, it's irrelevant to what I'm trying to say. And what I'm trying to say is Donald Trump telling him not to apologize, him making homophobic comments, getting the Medal of Freedom Award, to me, is inexcusable. I think we can agree on that.
I agree.
Well,
The Medal of Freedom.
But listen, Paul,
you know why he got the Medal of Freedom there?
Why?
To put it in the Democrats' face.
Yeah. Well, you're probably
was the only reason.
You're probably right, Paul. And listen, you might be right. Listen, Rush has a millions and millions of listeners. Maybe it helps Pete Buttigieg. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying I don't know.
Yeah, and neither of us knows for sure. But I think, I mean, if you're the age that the mayor is, and I'm sure he's been gay his whole life, it's not the first time he's heard something ignorant like that.
Oh, no, absolutely
so I'm
not.
sure it doesn't bother him. It's just kind of like taking a breath to him. It's like, whatever.
I'm sure. I don't know what it's like to be gay, Paul, but I'm sure we both could agree on this. There's a lot of people that discriminate out there, that treat you differently because of your sexuality, sadly. I appreciate the call, Paul, and listen, I don't know the answer to that. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Paul M. Paul M., thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. What's on your mind, Paul?
Yeah, he don't have to talk about it or bring it up. He shows it on national TV, kissing his buddy on national TV. That's
And why do you,
abomination before God.
why is it an
It's
abomination?
wrong.
Why is it wrong?
Because God says it so.
Do you have has God spoken to you? What do you know what God thinks?
Well, I read the Bible.
Oh, so because you read a book, you know something I don't know? Is that what you're trying to
I
say,
didn't-
sir? Who
All
wrote
I
the
can
book?
tell you, it's an
No.
abomination.
No. I'm asking you a question. Because you wrote a book and I didn't, that makes you right and me wrong?
I didn't write a book.
I read a book. I apologize, sir. Because you read a book and you don't know who wrote it, that makes you right and me wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if you take an authority, okay, you have to have some authority in your life, okay? If somebody had to tell you sometime in your life what was right and wrong.
So in your
And
opinion,
where do
because
you get your values from?
let me tell you,
From thin
sir.
air?
Let me
From thin air?
tell you.
Listen,
It's no.
listen, one more
Pot him
thing
down.
before I
No,
go.
don't hang him up. No. Pot him down all the way. Paul, let me tell you something, my friend. Just because you want to look at someone because of their sexuality, and you want to say that they're committing a sin, and my opinion of a homosexual is different than yours, doesn't mean my values are better or different. In fact, I'll even go a step further. My values are better than yours. You know why? Because I don't discriminate against somebody based on their sexuality. And just because you read a book, that makes you better than me? You're a moron, Paul. Go ahead. I'll pod you back. Ask another stupid question. Go ahead, buddy. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, what a shocker. I wonder what the Bible says about calling somebody a retard. I wonder what God says about that. You're a joke. You're pathetic. And I bet somebody like Paul M., a Bible thumper, probably makes more sins in his life than anybody else. It's the people like that that are cheating on their wives. It's the people like that that are molesting children. It's the people like that that are committing felonies. Screw you, Paul M. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Jay. Jay, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
I'm just doing wonderful, Jay. That last caller put me in a fantastic mood.
Yeah, it sounds like it. so just to say, with what Rush said, I don't. It was racist. I think it was more of the fact of letting people understand. Okay, here's Donald Trump as a president that's married to a woman. Again, here's an individual that's married to a man. Okay, the thing that we have to remember is that we're not just dealing with just Americans. We're also dealing with other countries. Other countries that don't believe in gay marriage.
Okay, and you're right.
Those are the things. Those are the things that's going to hinder America from actually addressing, especially if you're fighting against terrorism.
Okay, Jay, let me address that. Let me address that, Jay. That is a valid discussion to have, and I'm willing to have that discussion with anybody. But that's not what Rush Limbaugh said, and you have to also understand that Rush was talking about him kissing his husband, and he's made jokes in the past. He said that if you're standing behind a gay man, it's an invitation. He's said homophobic things on his show before, and make no mistake about it, he is mocking Pete Buttigieg for being a homosexual. Now, if he brought up what you just brought up, like I said, I think that is a very fair conversation to have, because you're right. Sadly, there are leaders of other countries in the world that look at homosexuality as a sin. Could that affect our...
I mean, especially...
But Jay, he didn't talk like that. You're being very articulate with he didn't do that, Jay.
That's the thing that we all have to look at. I mean, we could take it your way and everything where it's racist and.
I didn't say it was racist. I said it was homophobic. Yeah.
It's homophobic and everything.
Yeah.
But we also have to understand that there are different worlds there that don't believe in gay marriage.
Jay, I don't disagree.
And that will totally ruin the whole entire. They will look down on America completely.
Well, Jay, listen, let me be very clear, Jay. And by the way, I do appreciate the call. Thank you very much. I would rather listen to you talk about this issue than Rush Limbaugh, because you're at least you're articulate about it. We might disagree, but that's a fair argument that you bring up. 257-5396. Let's go to Roy. Roy, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, man?
All right. What would they call his boyfriend if he got elected president, the first lady?
Who cares? Why does that matter to you? Who cares? Who cares? Explain to me why that's important to you. Exactly. No comment. Thank you for the call. You sound like a very intelligent person. 702-257-5396. John, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, John?
A minute ago, you used the word irrelevant. In a week or two, it'll be irrelevant. Pete's never going to make it in this Christian nation. It's a Christian nation.
I'm not Christian. I'm not Christian. I'm not Christian.
Oh, that's fine. You're a very minority, though. It's like, like the guy said, where do you get your morals? Out of thin air? He's never gonna make it, so
Let me
it's
tell you where.
irrelevant.
Let me tell you where I got my morals from, my friend.
Bernie's gonna whoop it.
Okay, John, you just made a comment about my morals. So you're saying because I'm not a Christian, I don't have any morals? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, absolutely
okay,
not.
so let me
No.
tell you where I got my morals from. This might be difficult for you to get, but I'm going to try to explain
Let me
it to
get
you.
it.
I got my morals from something called parents. My parents raised me to treat women with respect. My parents raised me not to pay a woman to have sex with them and then shut her up. My parents.
mom raised me not to sleep next to another
excuse
hairy
me.
man.
Okay, excuse me. If you're homophobic,
it's
that's
normal.
Excuse me. If you're homophobic, that's your problem. That's not mine. Okay.
Brian, I'm not. But
oh,
you'll
really?
never make
so,
it. You need to have a reality
Okay, hold on a
check.
sec. No, you need to have a reality check. There are a lot of
He's not gonna
homosexuals.
make it.
Excuse me. You just said my mother raised me not to be sleeping next to a hairy man. Do you now? If you're
Correct.
straight, that's great. Congratulations, my friend. Okay. Excuse me. What did you just say?
That being a butthole, that's not for sex.
Guess what? There's a lot of straight people that have sex like that. Have you not heard of that before? Or have you ever?
I'm sure they
are you
do.
In, are you in a
But
relationship?
Brian,
Are you married? Hold on a second. I want to ask you a question.
Brian, we're not going to have a first
Are
lady,
you
man.
married? Are you married?
I cannot disclose that.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever been with a woman before in your life?
Every time.
What do you mean every time? Are you married? Are you in a relationship right now?
I am in a relationship.
And what's his name?
It's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
woman.
Get lost, you idiot. Yeah, exactly. Laugh. That Tucker Carlson feminine laugh of yours. You're a liar. 702-257-5396. You're not going to make homophobic comments on this show. I'm not Rush Limbaugh. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Andy. Andy, you're next up on the Vegas
Hey,
tape.
Brian.
What's going on?
That was an interesting call right there. So let me, I'm going to lay this out. I am a Trump supporter.
Which is okay.
I
which is okay.
have no problem with Buttigieg being gay.
I'm happy to hear
I have
that.
no issues with that. I have relatives that are actually gay, so, I have no issues with that.
I'm happy to hear that.
support them.
Yes, sir.
My thing with what you're saying is you have a problem obviously with what Rush said, and you think he's racist and everything like that.
Well, it's not that I think. It's not what I think. He said racist things on his show. You can't deny it.
Okay, but it's your opinion.
No, it's not.
You know,
Hold on a second. The National Thug Association, the NFL, the Bloods, and the Crips. I mean, I can go on and on. He made fun of the president of China, mimicking his voice. He said, as far as homosexuals, if you're standing behind them, they're not walking away from you. It's an invitation. These are racist, homophobic remarks. That's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Yeah, okay, he said it. I mean,
well, yeah, he did.
Okay.
He doesn't have to say the N-word for him to be a racist. He was. By the way, ESPN agrees with me. They fired him because of his racist comments. So it's not an opinion. It's a fact.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay.
The thing I have an issue with what you're saying is where is it on the other side? Like, you make a big deal about Trump's extramarital affairs.
Yes, I do.
The money he had the hush money that he has to lay out.
Yes, I did.
Why is that an issue if people are making, the argument that, Trump is racist and he's homophobic or he supports that, it's a non-issue because it's not what's at hand in the election. It's not.
Well, I can only tell you. Listen, Andy.
It didn't affect me in my life that he paid off.
Andy,
his
you're
stripper.
entitled to your opinion. I can only give you mine. I don't speak for others. And my opinion is this, Andy, okay? I vote for people that I respect, not people that dodge the military, not people that cheat on their wives and have extramarital affairs. Now, listen, we're not talking about.
You don't vote on the issues.
I also vote on issues as well, but I can tell you
just vote on character.
Well, hold on. I can also tell you that character to me is just as important as the issues, if that makes sense. I don't like.
But does his character affect you personally?
You're talking about him. I think it affects the country. I think it embarrasses the country. Yeah, absolutely. Here's why. Let me ask you a question. Do you have kids, Andy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. So let me ask you this, because I think this is an important question. If your kids are watching a Donald Trump press conference or watching Donald Trump on television, and he makes fun of a woman's looks, for example, a few weeks ago, he made fun of Nancy Pelosi's teeth. You're telling me that doesn't affect kids? The president of the United States going after a woman based on looks and name-calling people left and right? What type of example?
Affects kids. I mean, video games affect kids.
Okay,
shooting a gun at a video game can affect a kid.
Okay,
obviously,
but that's a different subject. You said, how does it affect you? It certainly can affect people.
Yes, but the issue at hand is he makes policies. He signs laws.
And he also Yes, he does. You're right. But he also, guess what? Not just policies, he also represents this country. He is the president of the United States, and he should be held to a higher standard than you and me, Andy. I appreciate the phone call. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Alex. Alex, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Again, I really like your show. The only thing is I wish we just calm down. Sometimes you really get mad at us that have a different opinion. And
Alex.
I know some of the people are stupid. I know that, and they maybe make stupid comments. But I'm just getting the impression that,
Alex, let me be clear.
Anytime somebody says they're Christian, you go right after them.
Alex, let me be clear. If somebody says something homophobic on this show, I am going to call them out on it because I think it's ignorance. Number two, you are confusing anger with passion. I am a passionate individual. Now, if you want to talk to somebody on this show with a monotone voice that is going to let somebody on the show for 3 or 4 minutes make racist, homophobic comments, I'm not your guy, Alex. I am who I am. I
respect that. I respect that.
Okay.
Here's the question. I need to ask you something. You said, what does that mean, homophobic, to you? Because
here's what homophobic means to me, Alex. Homophobic means to me that you're scared of someone or somebody threatens you or your way of life because of their sexuality. For example, the idiot who just called in a few callers ago who said, my mom teach me never to be in the same bed as a hairy man, and then he talked about buttholes and stuff. That guy clearly has mental problems and issues in his life. That is what I call homophobic.
Yeah, okay. I think he just doesn't express himself correctly, but
Listen,
I understand his
Alex,
point.
if you called up, Alex, and you're a smart guy, you call up and say, listen, I don't agree with gay marriage. Here's why. I wouldn't call you homophobic. I wouldn't do that. I would say, look, you're entitled to your views. I disagree with you. But I wouldn't call you homophobic. I would say, look, this is that guy's religious beliefs. I respect that. But when somebody calls up and talks about a hairy guy and goes, on the deep end, I'm going to call them a homophobe.
Well, I see what you're saying. So basically, you're saying if you're offensive and disrespectful.
Right.
Now I understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, here's the question. I need to understand. For example, in Pete's case, I saw the debate. I actually like the guy for how he was speaking and expressing himself.
Right.
As far as being homosexual, none of us choose to be whatever we are, white, black, tall, bald, whatever.
Right.
And in homosexual cases, I think there are legitimate people. I've said that before.
Right.
The only concern I have is, I've said it before, is the agenda that sometimes the LGBTQ community seems to be pushing on us Christians, and I believe that it's gone too far. I have a question for you, Brian. What do you believe? What's your belief regarding transgender operations for a child? Say they're 12 years old and they tell their parents, "Hey, you know what? I look like a male, but I want to be a female." Are you for that kind of thing to have the parents?
First of all, I am for an adult making their own decisions with what they want to do to their body. That's number one. Number two, a child, a 12-year-old, can't just walk into a clinic and say, "Hey, I want a surgery. I want to have a vagina or a penis." A 12-year-old, a child, can't do that. They have to have permission from a parental guardian. That is a personal decision that a family should be allowed to make. Now, with that being said, it is true that there is a large percentage of people that are transgenders, that are transitioned, that commit suicide. That is a problem in our society that we need to address. But with that being said, I do think some of these people need to get some help mentally. But listen, they have a right to do what they want to do with their body. But you're making it like a 12-year-old can just walk in to a doctor and get a transition into somebody. That's not the case. It has to be through a guardian.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying I've heard of cases on the news
I'll tell you what I'm against, though, Alex. I'll tell you what I'm against. And by the way, Alex, always good to hear from you, and I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll tell you what I'm against. I'm against Donald Trump putting a policy in place to ban transgenders from serving the military. I'll tell you what, I am completely and totally 100% against that. If you're willing to serve this country and risk your life, I don't care what is between your legs. And nobody should. Nobody should. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a few more of your calls, and then we have Vegas Take Jeopardy. We'll let one lucky listener play a little Jeopardy against me. It'll be Mike Bloomberg versus Donald Trump. Who said it? We'll do that coming up here in just a few minutes. We'll get to a few more of your calls. I know a lot of people have been waiting patiently on hold. We'll get back to that at 257-5396 in a bit, right after the break. You're listening to the Vegas Take, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their number one priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the number one employer on the 2020 Military-Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
The search is underway for a new U.S. intelligence chief after officials warned House lawmakers that Russia is meddling in the 2020 election in hopes of getting President Trump reelected. Correspondent Vivian Salama.
The ultimate outcome of this was that President Trump wasn't the first to know. And so that triggered a very angry response from him when he eventually found out about this briefing. And he didn't care about either the findings or the fact that Democrats, especially, were hearing about it before him.
Ahead of tomorrow's caucuses in Nevada, the state's culinary union has come out against one of the top Democratic candidates. Correspondent Kyung La.
One thing that is clear, and it was put out on a scorecard, is the union does not support Bernie Sanders and his Medicare for All plan. On the line where it says Bernie Sanders, they say a vote for Bernie Sanders would, quote, end culinary health care.
On Wall Street, the Dow down 1%. I'm Ann Cates.
This report sponsored by Upwork. When you need in-demand talent on demand, an accident on the 95 northbound at the Spaghetti Bowl is on the southbound transition ramp, partially blocking the ramp. Expect slowing, but traffic is getting by. And then on the surface streets, an injury crash at Decatur at Sahara. Police and fire at the scene. Another injury accident reported Russell at Polaris Avenue. Upwork has the largest network of independent professionals like designers, developers, data scientists, you name it. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Our best vapor yet at our best price ever. 99 cents plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pod sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
Hi, this is Harvey Blankfeld, host of Las Vegas Real Estate Now. We are saying farewell to Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and moving to Saturdays at 11 a.m. Please do tune in every Saturday at 11 a.m. and learn about real estate right here on the new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON, the talk of Las Vegas.
This is Harry Jacobs from Credit Restoration of Nevada, inviting you to join me for the Credit Show, Saturday mornings between 9 and 10, here on the new 101.5 FM and 720 AM KDON.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDON.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. By the way, coming up here in a few minutes, one lucky listener is going to be able to play a game of Jeopardy with me. Vegas Take Jeopardy, that is. Who said it? Bloomberg or Trump? That is going to be the theme of Jeopardy. So that'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. But I did promise I would take a few more calls from you in regard to this Rush Limbaugh situation. Pete Buttigieg, his remarks going back at Rush, Donald Trump telling Rush not to apologize. Let's sneak in a few more calls, and let's go to Eric. Eric, you are first up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, so regarding the United States and it being a Christian nation and homosexuality and homophobia, the thing that I think many non-Christians or non-believers don't understand is that as a Christian myself or as a follower of Christ, is that we are okay with discrimination in the sense that we ourselves are discriminated against by our Creator. You know, God he doesn't fear anybody. He's not a respecter.
So you're saying God has the thought of if you're discriminated against, you should discriminate others. So you're saying two wrongs make a right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay,
Because he commands us not to do that.
So Rush
Absolutely
Limbaugh.
not.
So Rush Limbaugh. Can we all agree Rush Limbaugh's not doing what God wants him to do?
Correct.
Okay, fair enough. I'm glad to hear you say that. That's my point, really. That's my point. Okay, so Eric, you're a Christian man. I would never, ever tell you what you should believe in as far as religion. You're entitled to that. My problem with religion is this. Those who preach it on others and want others to be like them. I think religion is a personal thing, and I don't think anybody should do that. If you believe that being gay is a sin, I disagree with you, but that's fine. You can believe what you want to believe in, and God forbid one of your kids becomes gay. I wonder what you do in that spot, but that's fine. I would never tell you what to believe in. My problem is homophobia, people that are out there that discriminate. And like you just said, Eric, God doesn't want you to discriminate. So why are so many people on the evangelical right discriminating against homosexuals? That's my question to you.
The problem is that, like you said, it affects the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Him kissing the Buddha gay, him kissing his spouse on national TV, that affects the nation. That affects
the
majority of the voters.
In what way?
Just to have that out there in the open,
Would you say the same thing? Would you say the same thing if Donald Trump tongued Melania Trump? Would you say
absolutely?
Okay,
absolutely.
So you're saying that's fair. So you're saying you think it's inappropriate for the president to kiss his wife or any politician to kiss his wife in public?
For the most part, yes. It depends on the scenario. What is it? If it's New Year's Eve and he gives her a nice peck on the lips, that's understandable.
Okay, so if Pete Buttigieg gave his,
intimate.
I hear you. So if Pete Buttigieg gave his husband a quick peck on the lips, you're saying you wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, then we're on the same page. Listen, Eric.
We're in the 21st century.
Yeah, Eric, I'm in agreement with you, okay? I don't want to see a man or a woman tonguing each other any more than I want to see two men or two women. Well, maybe two attractive women, but that's another story for another show. Eric, I appreciate you calling in. Thank you. I think that's a reasonable guy, and I think we agree. 702-257-5396. That's right. He's reasonable because we agree, of course. 257-53. Let's take one more call, then we got to go to break. Let's go to Charles. Charles, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, 3 quick points. I'm on my way to the Trump rally. I got my sign ready. It says hermaphrodites for Trump.
Wait, what time does that start, Charles?
At noon. I have my poster, hermaphrodites for Trump.
No. What time doesn't it start at noon? Are you going to be able to get in?
Yeah. I got clearance. I'm a hermaphrodite.
Oh, okay.
And number two, you have porn stars on your show all the time. You're getting all over them for that.
No. Wait. Hold on. No, I'll get you to number 3. I'll let you get to number 3.
Okay.
I will not hang up on you. I promise. You are correlating having an interesting guest on the show, like porn stars, to cheating on your wife with a porn star. Please tell me why you're comparing the two. They're two completely different things. I'm not paying any of these porn stars hush money payments. They're coming on the show because they're entertaining guests. I enjoy speaking to them. I find that what they do fascinating. I find what Stormy Daniels has done in her career fascinating. They're good guests. Why would you bring that up as a negative? What does it have to do with cheating on your wife?
Well, I didn't say it was a negative. I just said it's interesting.
Why is it interesting? Explain to me why it's interesting.
To me, they're the same.
Well, so cheating on your wife is the same as interviewing a porn star. Is that your take?
No.
So what are you trying to say? Why is it a negative?
Well, I'm just saying you're cutting down him being with porn stars.
Excuse me.
You have him every other week.
Okay, you're wrong again. I'm not cutting down on Trump for hanging out with porn stars. I'm cutting down on Donald Trump for cheating on his wife 2 months after she had a child and paying her $120,000 in hush money payments. Do you not understand that the difference between having a porn star on a radio show and going after Donald Trump for cheating on his wife and paying her hush money? Do you not understand the difference there?
Sure enough, you articulated. And
okay.
The last thing on the booty gig, I didn't know he was gay, but I would vote for him if he builds the wall and lowers taxes and protects the Second Amendment. And,
Well, do you know what his position? Fair enough. Do you know his position? And I'm happy to hear you say that. Do you know his positions on those issues?
Well, he's against all of those.
Well, some of them he's against. You're absolutely right. But listen, I respect your opinion for not voting for him because of the issues that you don't support, Charles. I have absolutely no problem with you. You understand who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to people like you. I'm talking to the people out there that will not vote for Pete Buttigieg just because he's gay. Do you see what I'm getting at, Charles?
Yeah. Yeah. I like listening to every single call that you get. I learn from every one of them. It's
well,
fantastic.
listen, Charles, do me a favor. Say hello to Donnie for me. Tell him I said hello. And tell him if he ever wants to come on the show, we'll invite a few porn stars in studio sitting right beside him, okay?
Gotcha. You don't have anything against hermaphrodites, do you?
Hermaphrodites? Yeah, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to. Not today, Charles. I got a headache. I can't go there today, Charles. I appreciate the phone call. Hey, listen, have fun at Trump's rally, my friend. But you can't criticize me for having porn stars on my show. You can criticize a man for cheating on his wife. Yes, you can do that. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to play a game of Vegas Take Jeopardy. Who said it? Mike Bloomberg or Donald Trump? I promise you, folks, you're going to want to stick around for this. If you're heading out to the Trump rally, you're going to love this. Take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
Here is some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if you sign up for a plan that you're just not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. It's the affordable alternative to health insurance, and it's worked beautifully for 25 years. They have more than 400,000 members now around the country. MediShare is a Christian healthcare sharing ministry, and over the years, members have shared over $3 billion of each other's medical bills, so they could help share your needs too. And best of all, you could save a lot of money with MediShare. The typical savings for a family is about $500 a month. Your savings could be more or less, but think about what you could do with that extra money every month. You're not stuck with a high-cost health plan. You can join MediShare anytime, so call them today and check it out. Here's the number to find out more, and there's no pressure. They are super easy to talk to. Call 844-91-BIBLE. That's 844-91-BIBLE, 844-91-BIBLE.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
3 years ago, my mom, my sweetheart, who had type 2 diabetes, died of heart disease. We didn't know that if you have diabetes, you are 2 to 4 times more likely to develop cardiovascular disease. And what's truly shocking to me is that millions of people living with diabetes aren't aware of their increased risk for heart disease. What will it take to sink in? If you have type 2 diabetes, know your risk of heart disease. Know your risk of heart disease. Know your risk of heart disease. Be good to yourself and those you love by knowing your risk. Heart disease and diabetes are linked. No matter how you have to hear it, please listen. Because the sooner you know your heart disease risk, the more you and your doctor can do about it. Go to foryoursweetheart.com.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
Welcome back to the Vegas Take. This is Jeopardy, and I am your host, Jason Stein Trebek.
Thank you, Mr. Trebek.
That's impressive,
thank you,
right?
Thank you. That's very, very impressive.
Thank you.
Okay.
Back by popular demand.
So tell me how this is going to work, please.
Well, back by popular demand, our low production value edition of Jeopardy.
Yes.
And this is how it works.
How's your health doing, Mr. Trebek, by the way? I heard you
I'm
weren't doing...
I'm circling the drain. Thanks for asking.
What happened to your mustache? You're much shorter than Alex Trebek. And Alex Trebek is not a very, very tall guy. But you looks like you've lost a couple feet.
I'm very much ready for budget Jeopardy.
All right, Mr.
Low
Trebek.
budget. We don't have a production staff, so this is all you get.
So we only have about 15 minutes here. So how's this going to work?
Well, I don't know. We will kind of wing it as we go. But no, here's the categories. I'm going to give you categories. This week, last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, we did Rush Jeopardy, where all the questions revolved around Rush Limbaugh and things he said. And this week, it's about Michael Bloomberg or Donald Trump. Who said it? Because they're so similar. They're both billionaires from New York.
So there's 5
and
different
they're both
categories.
a-holes. So we figured maybe it would be hard to differentiate who said what.
And I don't have the categories in front of
No,
me.
I'm going to
so-
give you the categories.
Okay, give them.
Okay, here we go. Categories are race relations.
Okay.
Ding.
Okay.
Women.
Okay.
Isn't there
Go
a
ahead.
ding? Ding.
No ding. Go ahead.
Got women?
Yes.
Stop and frisk policy.
Okay.
And gays.
Really good categories.
So
Thank you.
4 categories.
Yeah.
4, and I've got a final Jeopardy if we get there.
Okay. 4 categories, 2 questions each, correct?
Yeah, something like
All
that.
right. All right. I will start, and let's go with gays, please, for 300.
Gays for 300.
Yes. What a terrible host.
Who said it? Bloomberg or Trump? Quote, if your conversion, excuse me, if your conversation during a presidential election is about some guy wearing a dress and whether he, she, or it can go to a locker room with their daughter, it's not a winning formula for most people.
What is Bloomberg?
Correct.
Yes.
Well done, Brian.
Want to know.
And I like that you said what is.
Yes.
Yeah. Who is Bloomberg?
Who is? I'm
but
sorry.
at least you're on the
I'm
right track.
trying, I'm
Last
trying.
time you didn't get it
Yes,
at all.
Okay. So okay. So JD, please pick a category.
Yeah, I'm going to take stop and frisk for 200, please.
Stop and frisk for how much?
200.
200.
For 200, yeah.
Yes.
Stop and frisk for 200. And here is the answer. Indiscriminate stop and frisk works, and it was meant for problems like Chicago.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Who is Donald Trump?
That is correct.
Damn it.
Yes.
All right, Alex, can we please go with race relations for 300, please? Race relations for 300.
Race relations for 300.
Yes, Alex, stop repeating.
And the
please.
answer
Just ask the
is
question.
Haitians. We don't need more Haitians. Why are we having all these people from S-hole countries come over here?
I thought it was S-hole countries.
I said S-hole.
Oh, Oh, okay. I thought you said another word. Okay, that's definitely Donald Trump. I know that. Alex, I know that one.
Correct.
Yes.
I was about to steal that one, too.
You were ready.
All right.
Next
Go ahead,
category.
I'd like to go gays for 500, please.
Gays for 500.
Ooh,
Yes.
gays for 500. Okay. And the answer is the royal family. What a bunch of misfits. A gay, an architect, a horsey-faced lesbian, a kid who gave up Kustark for some fat broad.
Who is Michael Bloomberg?
Correct.
Damn it.
That's a big one. That's 500.
These questions are way too easy, by the way. I'm very disappointed in you.
Well, they're in the news.
Fine, go ahead. Oh, okay. Let's go
Well,
to...
I was actually studying the last 90 minutes for this.
Let's go to women for 6,900, please.
Women for 6,900. That
Yes.
doesn't exist.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You just
100.
wanted to get 69 in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Right?
I did.
Okay,
I did. Yes, go ahead.
All right, women. Let's see. Okay. There was blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her wherever.
And he was speaking in regards to Meghan McCain. I'll even give you who
Meghan
is-
Kelly. Meghan Kelly.
Who did I say? Meghan McCain. I'm sorry, Meghan Kelly. What is Donald Trump?
That is correct. You're right. These questions are too easy. Way too easy.
Make up a hard question for JD
I'm
just so he
trying.
gets it
All right.
wrong.
Stop.
You guys are too good.
Stop and frisk 400.
And the answer is stop and frisk.
Come on, Alex, get with the program.
The way you should get guns out of kids' hands is to throw them up against a wall and frisk them.
Who is Michael Bloomberg?
That is correct.
Jeez.
Just pretend to get one wrong, just so we can hear the other
All right.
sound effect.
All right, fine. Women, please, for 400.
Women. Whenever my wife catches me eyeing some broad, she's very careful to turn to me and say, quote, That's the most expensive piece of ass in the world.
Boy, I actually don't know this one. I'm going to guess and say Donald Trump.
That is incorrect. And also,
I really didn't know that one, by the way.
Also, by the way, that is The Price is Right. Not Jeopardy.
This is a hybrid low-budget Jeopardy.
I really didn't know the answer to that, by the way. I wasn't faking that.
It could go either way.
Yeah,
that was a tough one.
absolutely could.
That was a tough
we
one,
call
yeah.
this show Jeopardy is Right.
By the way, you know who else could go either way? The guy who called in a few callers ago who was thumping the Bible and was anti-gay. I bet you he can go either way,
The
too.
one who talked about buttholes?
Yeah. I bet you he goes either way.
That was an odd thing to bring up.
Yeah, that was very strange. All right, I'm sorry, Alex. This has nothing to do with Jeopardy. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, it's JD's move.
Oh, JD, it's your
Category,
move. Make
please.
your move, please.
Women for 500.
Women. Great. Now I can go after Horseface and her third-rate lawyer in the great state of Texas. She will confirm the letter she signed. She knows nothing about me. A total con.
All day. Who is Donald John Trump?
That is correct.
Who is Michael Avenatti? Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
He must have been talking.
What do we have left here? Do we have any gay questions left?
Yeah, we got gay questions.
Do we have gay questions?
Yeah, sure. You want gays?
I have a question.
I think there's one category we haven't really touched on.
Alex, are you
Which
gay?
one is
That is my question. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we also still have race relations,
All right,
too.
let's do race relations for 500,
I got
please.
some of
Race
those.
relations for 500. Go ahead.
Okay, race relations. We put all these cops in minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is.
That's got to be Mr. Bloomberg.
Correct.
Who had a wonderful debate, by the way, the other night. All right, JD. What do we have left here? Is there anything left?
We still have questions in all categories. Race relations, women, stop and frisk, and gays.
Go ahead.
Stop and frisk for 300, 500, 500? We have 500 left or not?
Sure, why not?
Okay, 500.
And
I don't have a board to
And
look
the
at.
answer is, I would do stop and frisk. I think you have to. We did it in New York. It worked incredibly well. You have to be proactive and, really help people sort of change their mind automatically.
Who is Donald Trump?
That is correct.
What am I, 6-0?
He said that. He defended the
Yeah.
stop and frisk
I'm telling you.
policy of Mike Bloomberg.
I literally
They're on the same page.
I studied this for 90 minutes, the last 90 minutes, and then I studied it last night as well. So I'm prepared.
It shows.
I'm very prepared for this.
You're doing good.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not. By the way, neither is Alex. He's not prepared either. Go ahead. Go ahead, Alex Trebek. Next question.
Shock it, Trebek.
I need a category,
Oh,
fool.
I'm sorry. Let's go to women for 300, please.
Women. All right, this is the last question in the women category. And the answer is, I like theater, dining and chasing women. Let me put it this way. I am a single straight billionaire in Manhattan. What do you think? It's a wet dream.
That's a tricky question because they're both the same.
Yeah.
But
That's the whole point.
I could be wrong on this. It could be Bloomberg, but I'm going Donald Trump.
No, it's Bloomberg.
It is Bloomberg.
Yep.
Oh, I got it wrong? Oh.
See, I would say that Bloomberg's actually a little more arrogant than Trump is. He's kind of cocky. I don't really think Trump is cocky, but Bloomberg, I'm a single billionaire in New York.
Alex, are we allowed to brag and gloat if somebody's beating me? Do we need the commentary? You're running the show.
You know what?
I didn't think that was gloating. I think he was wrong. I think Trump is very arrogant.
I'm not. No,
I think he's being arrogant because he's stop being arrogant. Just because you're winning doesn't mean it gives you the right to be arrogant.
Is worse than Trump in that regard.
You know, just like that kid in Vegas who won the Jeopardy. He was arrogant up there. You're being the same way.
Holzhauer?
Yeah, you're being like Holzhauer. You're being arrogant. You won't. Pretty soon, you won't even be doing interviews.
All I'm doing is I'm explaining why I think that was Bloomberg.
Alex, can you please control the game?
Yeah, we still have race relations. We have stop and frisk and gays.
I'll take race relations 400, please.
Sure, race relations. They're rapists. They are not our friend, believe me. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists, and I assume some are good people.
That sounds like Donald Bloomberg.
I think that's wrong.
Oh, is
that's
that?
that's a wrong.
I'll get
No,
Brian
that's wrong.
Who is Michael Trump?
I'm going to go with Donald Trump on that one,
Of
please.
course,
Yes,
of course.
yes,
That was
yes,
an
yes.
easy one.
That's definitely Donald Trump.
Okay.
That was an easy one. That was an easy one. Thank you.
We still have time. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I believe JD is up by one question, right? He's beating me by one.
Yeah, he's got you.
Okay, I want to defeat him. He beat me last time, I think. Go ahead, JD. Pick a category.
Next category.
I just picked a category, didn't I?
What?
Oh, yeah, he did?
I did, yeah.
Alex, thank you for controlling the game. You're doing such a wonderful
Which
job.
one do you want?
Well, no, it's mine
Brian's,
now.
It's Brian's turn.
Okay.
Alex,
Yeah.
you're fired.
I forgot. You got the steal.
You're fired. You and your
got the
stupid
steal.
mustache.
I forgot.
All right, so what's next?
I don't know. You
What's-
tell me.
what's left?
We got gays, stop and frisk,
Gays,
and
gays. I
race.
love gays. So let's go with the gays, please.
Good choice, Brian.
Thank you to the LGBT community. I will fight for you while Hillary brings in more people that will threaten your freedoms and beliefs.
If he's talking about Hillary, it has to be Donald
It
Trump.
is.
Yes.
And
thank
he
you.
actually, I have to say, I scoured the internet looking for things that Trump has said about gays that might be considered derogatory, and it's really hard to do.
He doesn't say many.
No, he
doesn't do that.
I
Yeah.
found a picture of, I should post this on our social media. There's a picture of him online with a rainbow flag. He's holding up a rainbow flag on his. I wonder how many of his supporters would enjoy
Well,
that.
I mean, I think his vice president is probably gay, so that might be a good reason for that. Anyway, next question,
Trump
please. Go ahead.
he's been very, very tolerant for that for a long time.
What do we have left?
Race relations, stop and frisk, and gays.
Stop and frisk, 1,000.
You like the stop and frisk, don't you?
Absolutely.
95% of your murderers, and murder victims, they fit an MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, pass it on to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 16 to 25. That's true in New York and virtually everywhere.
Who is Michael Bloomberg?
Yep. All right, we got gays.
Let's
and
go to
we-
gays,
okay,
please, for 400.
Last question in gays, or last answer, I should say. I think so. I think there would be some of that. I wouldn't be among that group, to be honest with you. I would vote for a gay.
Donald Trump.
Yep. Said that with Geraldo just
Yes, he
last
did.
week.
Yes, he did.
He said he would vote for a gay
So we only got about 4 minutes here left
person,
to go.
a gay person.
What do we have left here?
Let's see.
Alex Trebek is very unorganized, I've noticed.
I have to assume that Double Jeopardy is coming up, right?
Final Jeopardy.
Final Jeopardy.
Yeah, final. This is the
Final
last
Jeopardy.
question in regular Jeopardy, and it is under the race relations category.
All right, go ahead.
Who's
JD.
JD. Okay, here we go. I think disproportionately, we stop whites too much and minorities too little. It's exactly the reverse of what they say.
Who is... I need a second for this. This is tough. This is really hard.
He only has 20 seconds, and then we're going to hear a buzzer.
Okay, who is Michael Bloomberg?
That is correct.
All right.
All right, now it's time for...
Now it's time for final
Let's get that music.
Jeopardy, ladies and gentlemen. Final Jeopardy has arrived.
Cue the music.
There we go.
So what, you're up by one, right? No, JD's up by one.
I wonder if Alex Trebek has
I don't
ever
think-
asked that in the middle of a
He doesn't-
Jeopardy. So
Alex
what do you
Trebek-
guys have for scores?
Trebek is the talent.
Let's just say we're
He
even.
doesn't need to keep track of these things. And by the way, in the real show, the numbers, the dollar amounts are right there on the screen in front of him, in front of the podiums. So you can just look and see. You want me to come up with the questions, ask the questions, and keep track of who's winning?
Yeah, I don't think that's asking too much.
That is asking
You
too
produced the segment, but go ahead.
Actually, I would
Go
like a podium and a buzzer.
All right.
If we could make that
I
happen.
Ask the
for
question.
I
next
want an
Jeopardy.
intern. Remember, I've been
Ask the
asking you
question.
for an intern?
Fair.
Ask
Reasonable.
the question,
Perfect,
Alex.
perfect opportunity to learn about radio by keeping track of this ridiculous game.
All right, Alex, ask the question.
And the final Jeopardy answer or question or whatever is, I should say the category is Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
All right. Who said this? Quote, I don't particularly like him. He's a nasty guy. Brian?
You want me to write it
Oh,
down?
yeah, write it down. You were supposed to be writing the whole time.
He's supposed to be writing it down too.
Whatever.
All I have is an empty cup.
Well, let him.
It's radio. Pretend you're writing.
All right. And for the price, I'm going to do okay.
$120,000?
I'm going to do a hush money payment. Hush money payment.
Reasonable.
But here's the problem with this. If you read my answer, don't read it out loud. Just say if I got it right or not, because I don't want JD to get it right.
Okay, that is correct.
Don't look. He's looking at my paper. I got it right. Okay.
JD, your answer?
Well, I need a piece of paper.
Just
And-
pretend like you have a piece of
pretend.
paper.
Just tell me what it is.
We can't afford it.
We're running out of time here.
It's definitely Donald Trump.
It is Trump, and Brian had
Yeah,
Trump too.
right.
So, but in the end, JD, you win.
Good.
That's not right. That's
I
not
needed
fair.
that victory.
That's not fair.
It
That's
felt
not
good.
right. All right. All
Feels
right.
All right,
very,
let's
very-
get
very good.
congratulations, JD, and thank you all for listening to this horribly produced, low production value of Jeopardy. We have no budget and no staff, so this is the best we can give you in terms of bits. Let's
Fair
hear it.
enough.
Can we get the music?
Yeah, we want the music.
There
There
we
you
go.
go. Thank you. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to do Jeopardy for us. You did a phenomenal job.
Yes.
You were incredible. There were no mistakes. The production value was fantastic.
Yes, and to the Jeopardy lawyers, please don't sue us.
No, please don't. Because this certainly doesn't represent what Jeopardy is.
No, and
Shock it,
not at all.
throwback.
All right, well, JD beats me again. What can I do? You know, it's amazing how Bloomberg and Trump are more alike than we thought they were. They both have made very similar comments in the past. Some of those questions are actually difficult to answer. It could go either way, literally.
Well, I think the one where he's talking about being a single guy in Manhattan and chasing women around and all that gets really difficult to discern, doesn't it?
There's no question it does. Well, coming up next, we're going to have a lot of fun because he is known as Mr. X, the Hollywood conservative. He is a Donald Trump supporter and a longtime producer in Hollywood. It's why we can't say his real name because he's afraid of backlash for that. We got a lot to get to with him, including an update on the Harvey Weinstein trial. We'll talk about that. Steven Spielberg's daughter doing an interview talking about her life in the porn industry. We'll talk about that and much, much more with Mr. X, the Hollywood conservative. That and much, much more coming up next. So stay tuned. On the other side of the break, Mr. X, you're listening to The Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.
Your home for Sean Hannity, KDWN Las Vegas, KKLZ HD2 Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
I'm Ann Cates. Technological worries are growing ahead of tomorrow's Democratic presidential caucuses in Nevada.
iPad. That's the answer Nevada Democratic Party officials have to the Iowa app failure. The concerns are, however, it is app-like, so some believe, but party officials say it is merely a bookmark in the web browser that takes volunteers to customize Google documents, such as a worksheet called a caucus calculator and a math sheet that helps tabulate caucus results as well as add in early voting numbers. This is probably the best way to explain it, and it still sounds hinky. There are also cybersecurity concerns that party officials say have all been addressed. Jim Roop, Las Vegas.
The U.S. and the Taliban will sign a peace deal late next week aimed at ending 18 years of war in Afghanistan and bringing American military forces home. Correspondent Barbara Starr.
12,000 troops there now. They hope to bring it down to 8,600 or so. But don't count on U.S. troops fully leaving anytime soon. They still want to keep U.S. troops in the region in Afghanistan to fight against terrorists. And the Taliban want all U.S. troops out of the country, so there is still potentially a very long way to go.
Jurors in the rape trial of former movie magnate Harvey Weinstein are back in court in New York today. Correspondent Jean Casares reports the panel wanted testimony from actress Annabella Sciorra read back to them.
On cross-examination, one of the main points was you lived in a 24-hour doorman building. People just can't walk up to a floor. Did you get a call that Harvey was coming up? No. Had you given Harvey your apartment number previous to that? No. And so there's an open-ended question. There's no evidence showing if he got up there, how he got up there.
Steep losses today on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 253 points. The S&P 500 down 41. The NASDAQ off 184. I'm Ann Cates.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Circle K. Paradise Road at the airport connector at Desert Inn Road is closed for the presidential rally. Drivers can expect rolling closures on Paradise between Desert Inn and Elvis Presley. Take Maryland Parkway or use Las Vegas Boulevard instead. Also a crash reported on the 215 Southern Beltway westbound near Stephanie. At Circle K, every cup of coffee is ground fresh. That means for a mouth-watering split second, Circle K coffee is actually truly the freshest in the world. Starting at $1. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Get the rest you deserve with Helix Sleep. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences and give you the best sleep of your life. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their New Year sale.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. The world is changing. Isn't it time smoking changed too? Vuse Alto is a vapor product offering you a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Simple to use, surprisingly quiet, and impressively powerful. Our best vapor yet at our best price ever, 99 cents, plus tax at participating retailers. 99-cent offer applies to Alto device. Pods sold separately. Underage sale prohibited.
This is Harry Jacobs from Credit Restoration of Nevada, inviting you to join me for the Credit Show, Saturday mornings between 9 and 10, here on the new 101.5 FM and 720 AM, KDON.
V is for victory, except on Saturdays when V is for veterans. That's Veterans Talk, The Forgotten Promise. Join us every Saturday from noon to 1.
Veterans Talk every Saturday at noon on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.
Regaining control of your drinking doesn't have to mean uncomfortable group settings or the unrealistic expectation of sobriety. Meet LifeBack, a physician-approved, completely private, app-based program designed for those who want to cut back on drinking without having to quit completely. Using a combination of medication proven in clinical studies to reduce the urge to overdrink in 92% of people and in-app coaching and support tools, LifeBack makes drinking a choice rather than a habit or a need. Every aspect of your LifeBack plan is managed on our mobile app from the privacy of your phone, and medication is delivered directly to your doorstep without the need for in-person doctor appointments. Start the LifeBack program now and treat yourself to sharper focus, better health, stronger relationships, and saved money while still enjoying moderate drinking. Visit lifebac.com. That's lifebac.com. Get your life back today with LifeBack. Visit lifebac.com.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of